what strikes me about what you're saying is interesting, Ranveer, because there are many, people who are, like you, not very religious, even atheists, moderates, if you will, who've been sort of outraged by this. They believe that, how long can this thing kind of go on for? And that's one of the, particular things about this story. People who, wouldn't, throw a second glance at a poster like this, are now reacting, saying enough is enough.
Yeah, I mean, I think, Shiv, ideally, I would have, I would like a society which is completely free, the complete freedom of expression and freedom of speech to be able to criticize, religious, political, even spiritual, subjects. But I think we live in a society where of very diverse values as far as religious sentiments go, because on one hand, you have religions which are okay with just, saying sorry or just, chanting or just saying few, Hail Marys or something. And on the other hand, you have religions which want to chop off your head if you say something about them. I think, I don't think we as a society are ready for absolute speech and absolute freedom of expression. And I know we are not a society like that. So, I mean, it's important to have certain laws to be able to aggregate these values, and then those laws should be applied equally, and the state needs to be strong about that. You can't have heads being chopped off, in the name of blasphemy and such, or sacrilege in this case. So I think we need to have reasonable laws which kind of reflect the values of our own constitution, and then the state needs to be strong enough to implement them.
Yeah, no, that I completely concur with you on the, on the law enforcement issue. I, for one, am a person who actually believes that it should be about the law of the land and not about sentiment, because sentiment is a slippery slope. I've actually tweeted about the poster as well. Last couple of questions, Ranveer. You were talking about liberals. My personal view about liberals is the people we call liberals in this country, I don't think they really are liberals, because the hypocrisy and the selectivity with which they apply those liberal values kind of negates any inherent liberalism. But that aside, would you agree that it is this sort of hypocritical, selective, application of those values of one particular depiction and not the other that has in one way, outraged people who say that, this kind of thing has been happening for too long? There has to be an end to it. If you go onto social media right now, there are many reasonable people saying, this kind of thing wouldn't have mattered perhaps a few years ago, but now everyone's really angry because they see it happen over and over again, only in one direction.
Yeah, I mean, Shiv, radicalization and extremism, fundamentalism, this is like a virus. And it travels community to community. In a room full of 5 people, if one person starts asserting his identity all the time, or over certain things, you can be sure in the room other people are also going to, okay, this guy can do it, then I can also do it. It applies to me. And let's face it, constitutionally we are bound with equality, right? Everybody needs to be treated the same.
Yeah.
So yes, I mean, this hypocrisy is very apparent, and that is what is really getting people go to.